Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nigel and this is Offgrid Van Life, where we look at van conversions, off-grid power, lithium iron phosphate batteries, and everything in between. Basically, we want to help you to be able to convert a van, build out an awesome rig, and hit the road and find adventure. And most importantly, to be able to power your van with a really good electrical system. And so in this video, I am going to be unboxing and giving sort of first impressions of these battery cells in here. So this box is still sealed. I haven't opened it yet. I've just got it recently. And if you've been following our channel for a good length of time, you'll know that we're on this quest of testing loads of different lithium iron phosphate battery cells to see if we can find really good value for money. Now it's a bit of a minefield trying to find a good lithium iron phosphate battery for a good sort of, or let me rephrase that, for a cheap price. So you can easily find very good lithium iron phosphate batteries, and there are a number of manufacturers that are really good that we've tested. So the likes of Eve, Winston, Catel, Lyschen, they're all really good battery manufacturers. And obviously, some of them have different benefits over the other. They're different price points. Winston is quite a bit more expensive than the others for various reasons. And so it's not difficult to find a good battery source or good lithium iron phosphate cell source from China, but it is sometimes challenging to find a good seller that will not sell you junk. So we've got a couple of sellers that we really highly recommend, that we work with a lot. They are who supply all of our bulk buys that we do to be able to build out our batteries. So like our OPS 280 or OPS 300 batteries. So you can find those linked down below. We keep stock in the UK to be able to help people out if you want to get away from having to wait 2 months to get a shipment in from China. We have them stocked in the UK. We can dispatch them next day. So it's quite helpful for people. Now, having said all that, there is very good value for money to be had in the form of cheaper cells on AliExpress and Alibaba. And for the most part, those are not grade A cells. Now, if you go onto those listings, a lot of the time they'll say these are grade A cells, they're definitely brand new, etc., etc. For the most part, the seller is just lying. It's not true. And they are actually probably grade B or grade C cells that have been maybe rewrapped or whatever the case is, or they've tried to repair them, or I don't know exactly what processes they all go through to then resell those cells. But generally speaking, they're not grade A. They won't give you the full capacity that you have been advertised. And so it's a bit hit and miss. And that's what stings people often, is they go on there thinking that they're buying brand new grade A cells, and actually what they're buying is grade B cells that have been advertised at the original capacity or slightly below the original capacity. And then you get cells that are mismatched, and they're just not high performing, or at least not as high performing as a grade A brand new cell. Having said that, they're still good value for money. So this box here, these cells, I bought these for $350 shipped to the UK, which is a steal. And these are supposedly 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate cells. I have no idea what they, who the original manufacturer was, so whether they're Catel or Eve or Lyschen yet, because I haven't opened the box yet. Looking at the listing, I suspect they're probably Eve or Catel, but I'm going to open these up, give you first impressions. We're going to get them charging, and then we're going to do a capacity test and just see how good they are, and just get an idea for how good value for money can you actually get from a set of $350 cells. So let's get this open and have a look. So initial first impressions are that they are pretty well padded in here. So if I tilt this box over here just a touch, obviously this box was built for 280 amp hour cells, I think. And yeah, these are 200 amp hour sitting in here. There's quite a lot of room, but they're quite well padded. So first impressions are quite positive. I mean, they're looking pretty good. Very Core is the seller that sold them to me. So let's get them out and have a look. Okay, so we're just going to inspect these guys. One of the things that I always do when I get a set of battery cells is to just have a good look at them, make sure that there's no major dents or cracks or damage to the sort of casing of the cells. So what you really don't want is any of the electrolyte leaking out or anything like that. And if you do, you need to be quite careful with it. It's quite toxic, so you need to avoid touching that if you can. Whenever I get a new set of cells, one of the things that I do is to just put the cells together to get a feel for whether they're bulging. So usually when you get a set of lithium iron phosphate cells like this, they're going to be their nominal voltage, which is 3.2 volts, so 3.26 volts. Not sure if you can see that there. And so I'll just go through and check them. 3.28, 3.27, 3.28. So all pretty close. And pushing the cells together like that looks pretty good. The gap between them is very small. And you look at this gap here, that actually looks really good. There's very little gap between them, which is a good sign. It means that there's little to no bulging. Now, I have a set of plywood here just pre-made from other cells that I'm going to use just to put a tape clamp onto these guys. You obviously want to be a little bit careful with this, that you don't actually bridge your terminals. You'll notice that I'm positioning the cells in series, so I've got negative, positive, like that. And so I always just position the cells before I top balance them in series like this, and then I'll just put it's a very elementary clamp, but just a bit of fiber tape. And with this, I'm really not clamping them hard, mainly just to hold this together. And the idea with the fiber tape is that your cells are going to expand and contract slightly, regardless of how good quality they are. All lithium iron phosphate cells expand and contract ever so slightly, some more than others, depending on the manufacturer and how they actually build out the batteries and stuff like that. And so by putting a set of plywood and this fiber tape on either side like I'm doing now, you can eliminate the ability for the cells to really expand that a lot. The main reason why you want to do that is because you don't want to put undue strain on your terminals with your bus bars. Now I suspect, just judging by the listing that I on AliExpress when I bought these, I'll open up the bus bars to check them, but I suspect that these bus bars are the flexible option. Yeah, they are. So because of the way that these bus bars are designed, if I hold that a bit closer there we go. You can see that they're designed that they are flexible. Now they're very thin. I don't know what the capacity is of these, but we'll do some tests and see. So I'm going to tape these cells up and then we'll connect them up to top balance them. So that's us all taped up. Now I am going to connect up a wiring loom that we've used for top balancing now. So let's get these in here. What's the best way of doing this? Okay, I've just finger tightened all of these, yeah, so I'm just going to nip them up with an Allen key just a little bit. They really don't need to be super tight because the current that we're going to be charging at is very low. I think it's probably going to be 30 amps total, so it really doesn't need to be torqued really tight. And these are the chargers that I'm going to be using. So this is a weight charger. All right, and I think we will leave it there, guys. I'm going to leave this charging. It's going to take a good while to charge. Obviously, when you're top balancing like this, these chargers are only 15 amps. So running 2 of them, it's going to be 30 amps. We'll leave them running like that, and then we'll capacity test them over the next couple of days and update you guys as to how we got on. First impressions of these cells so far is pretty positive. I mean, they look pretty good. It remains to be seen as to how good they actually are. So yeah, another set of cells to test and we'll see how we get on. Okay, so these cells are now fully charged and ready to go. I'm going to be connecting up 4 of these testers to the battery cells, so 1 for each cell. I've removed the loom on the top here for charging, so I'm going to connect these all up, get the testers running, and we'll see what capacity these cells give us. Okay, so this is what the testers look like when you get them turned on. So you can see here on these testers, they still have the previous test that I did, so 177 amp hours there, etc., and they're all the same. So what I'm going to do with these quickly is just going to hold down the button, and that's going to reset the counter there. So we do that on all of them. It gives you a little beep, reset the counter all the way through. And then what happens is, if we do this one here, that's actually the top one there, so you wind that up, try and get it to sit at around 12 amps draw. If you go above that, then it hits a cutoff where you're drawing too much for the tester to cope. So if I get all of those, and obviously these are all connected to each cell, so one tester per cell, and do that with all of them. Do. And there we go. If I go back to the first one here, you can see it's already started counting up there, just under so 0.18 of an amp hour. Then that's obviously connected here, so each tester has its own, or each cell has its own tester rather. So there we go. I'm going to leave those just whirring away there, and hopefully we get the 200 amp hours that we were promised out of these cells. I'll keep you guys posted. I understand that because it's such a low draw, you're going to kind of eke out the maximum capacity out of the cells that you can get. Obviously, that capacity may change depending on what your amperage is that you're drawing. So if you are drawing like 100 amps out of the cells, then it's going to deplete the cells much faster. Your voltage drop on the cables and wires that you use is going to be much more significant and have a much greater impact on the capacity of the battery cells. So I understand all of that. This is just an idea of have we been given the or have we purchased rather, have we purchased a set of cells that will meet their stated capacity, the advertised capacity, or are these a set of lemons like you often get from these sort of small sellers? So I'll keep you posted. It's going to take a day or so for that to wind down and deplete, so I'll update you guys when we get there. Okay, so here we go. Got all of these testers finished what they needed to do. Hit the low voltage cutoff, and so we will see what they got. So 185 amp hours on that one, 184, 186, and 183. So not surprising that they didn't hit capacity because these were super cheap cells, 185 amp hours ish or thereabouts. Yeah, so clearly these are not grade A cells. They're probably grade B or grade C, reconditioned, not brand new cells. So that's, pretty much what I was expecting. And so can't really recommend them if you are looking for grade A cells. Obviously, if you're looking for value for money, getting 185 amp hours out of a set of cells that was basically $300 still is pretty good value for money when you work out the dollar per amp hour. But who knows how much lifetime you'd get out of these. So I'm sure if you did the maths, your dollar per amp hour is probably still way cheaper on these, even though they haven't reached capacity, than if you bought grade A brand new cells. And granted, they may not have as long a lifespan because they've probably used up some of their lifespan before they were sort of reconditioned or whatever process they go through to sell them in this state. So yeah, don't perform at the same level, won't give you the same lifespan as a set of grade A brand new cells, but they're still pretty good value for money. So if you're looking for a cheap solution that maybe has some quirks, maybe not completely balanced cells or matched cells, then this is a good option. But if you want the best reliable option possible, then definitely go for grade A cells. But can I recommend very core cells? No. I could not recommend them as a seller. Clearly dishonest, and so we will be starting the process of getting money back with them. But yeah, It was an interesting exercise. Just as an aside, we've got the new shunt by Juntech that we're going to be testing over the next few days. If you're interested in seeing that, then obviously follow along and we'll be putting that video out in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have got something out of this video. If anything, it's shown you that there are more bad cells out there. So yeah, avoid these guys if you are looking for grade A good cells. Probably look at these guys if you're looking for a very cheap option with the knowledge that they are not grade A cells. So yeah, that's the summary. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.